Hi, my name is Jack Gratton. I've got a bit of a passion for cars and motorbikes. I've got about 40 motorbikes, 30 of them Ducatis. I've got 4 or 5 cars as well. So let me show you some Ducatis. Bit of an odd garage because it's quite next to the kitchen, but that's some of my Ducatis. What they are is I collect the homologation special ones, so everything from a 1974 750 SS, which they made 200 of for the Imola race, right up to the modern day Desmo Sedici, which is a GP bike. So let's go and have a look at some, shall we? So it starts with the 1990 SP2, which was shows as an 851, it's actually an 888, but that was the very first. We made 200 of those. The following year, they moved on to the SP3, which in my opinion is the most beautiful of all the Ducatis. This one is brand new, it's never been started. I found it in Italy about 10 years ago and never been started. Very proud of that one. So from the SP3, it goes to the SP4. And the SP4 was, again, Fogarty won the World Superbike Championship in '91 on one of these things. Now, then this is a really, really special one because in '91, they imported 16 of these, and this is called an SPS, and this is probably my favourite one. So this has got a full Corsa engine in it with a carbon fibre fuel tank. Very, very valuable, very, very rare, and beautiful to ride still. 135 horsepower, 165 kilograms. So still a quick bike, nowadays. So we move on from the SPS onto the SP5, which was really the last of the 851 range, really. And as you can see, a lot of people think that's the most beautiful. For me, it's the SP3 is most beautiful. So from the 851 range, they then moved on to the 916s. And the first 916 SP is basically this one here. So this is the very first 916. Just the most beautiful thing. I mean, look at it, it's just art. In fact, I have one in the kitchen, which I'll show you. So the 916, they made a number of these things. So they made the 916 SP, the SPS, then they made this one, which is a Foggy Rep. They made 200 of these, which is identical to Fogarty's, looks-wise, identical to Fogarty's race bikes. And again, very sought after these ones nowadays. They then went to the 996, which I'll show you in a second, in the kitchen, and then the 998, which was the very last of the 916 range, really. And fabulous bike to ride, 150 horsepower, really beautifully balanced, lovely. The dog of the range, of course, the 999R. This is the one where people think Ducati lost their way. 999R, bit of a dog to look at. I mean, I love the form of it. It's got just the way it's sculptured around the yokes and what have you. Still beautiful form. It rides beautifully. And obviously Neil Hodgson won the World Championship on one of these. So from the 999R, they then moved to the 1098R. And this is a much more modern machinery. So these things are still winning World Superbikes and Supersport at the moment. I mean, this is a beast. This is 200 horsepower motorbike, this. And as a road bike, it's completely and utterly mental as a road bike. But I do track days in this one. Here, we've got the Desmo Sedici, which is the Grand Prix replica that Ducati made. This, again, is 200 horsepower. And, it's an absolute dog on the road to ride. It's far too hard, way too fast for me. But it comes alive a bit on the track, really. So it's great fun. So this is when it all started. It started life as a 1989 851 and I decided to go up, did a track day on a bike and really enjoyed it at Goodwood, funnily enough, and really, really enjoyed it. I did all right in it, so I thought, we should go racing. So I bought a standard 851 race bike. And then I did the Clubman Twins for a year with New Era, which we won that year, which was quite fun. And then the second year, the bike started getting a bit slow, so we upped it to Corsa spec, and then I did the Battle of the Twins series on it, which was an international series, against full-blown 888 Corsas and what have you, which is what this ended up as, really. So they used to call me Mad Jack for some stupid reason. I used to crash a lot, which was a bit of a pain, literally and really. So that's what we got me into Ducatis, really. So from that, bear in mind that this was a basic street bike, which I transformed into, or myself and my team transformed into a race bike. Ducati then make these homologation special bikes. So Each year they produce whatever bike it is of the year, like an 851, and then they will produce a limited edition of them called SPs or Rs to go racing with. So in 1988, Mykel Replica won the World Superbike Championship on an 851, and so Ducati made 16 customer racers, 851 Mykel Replica replicas as they're called, and this is one of those. Again, never been started, absolutely as new, very first thing. The following year, 89, they made more of a customer racer, which was called an 851 kit. And this is this one, which well, a lot of people call it a tricolor because of the colours of it. But again, that's start. I bought this in a museum from Amsterdam, as this one here, which is the 750 F1 Montjuïc. They made 200 of these. This is number one, again, never been started. This is the last of the belt drive Panthers, really. Ugly, I think, but it is what it is. You know, it's the last of the range, and it's a booming, great big thing. And this is the Mykel Replica. Again, this is a 1984, I think it is off my head. I bought this in a case, so it's never been started. I found it in Italy. Absolutely brand new, never been started. Made loads of these though, but again, it is a homologation thing, so it does sort of fit in. And finally, just another 916. This is the SP. This is the SP3 916, which very pretty bike. But the most beautiful 916, in my opinion, is the 996R. So finally, probably the most beautiful, most pure of all the 916s is the 996R, 2001, absolutely brand new. Found it in eBay in Denmark, which was quite fun. Something a bit different, 1932 BMW radial engine, 9-cylinder, out of a Junkers, probably bombed your chip shop. Just beautiful art. So this is my day-to-day bike, probably the dirtiest multistrada in the world. Bike of the year last year, brilliant, does everything. Sports bike, touring bike, fantastic bit of kit. Thoroughly recommend it. Good to see Ducati making decent modern stuff. You just might be bombed by an SC5, by the way, so be a bit careful up there. So that's the BMW. So I then went and bought last year the R100 RS, which had only done 10,000 miles, again on eBay. And I did Lands End John O'Groats on that last year. On the longest day, the 21st of June, set off at sunrise from Land's End, went up to Land's. It took me 11 hours. That's an average of 72 miles an hour, including stops. So the old dog did really well. Do a bit of enduros. So this is the KTM 500 EXE, fantastic bit of kit, fuel injected, lovely. That's the 350 version, that's the smaller version. And then the classic British sports car, TVR Griff 500 SE, last one made, just beautiful, still drives perfectly. Bit of a trivia question, the best-selling vehicle of all time is of course the Honda Cub. I think they made 100 million of them. This one, a little old man down the road, had it on the back of his camper van. So it's only done 800 miles from new, but that's it. I always wanted one. So this is a bit of fun. This is my track day car, and do a bit of racing and sprinting in it. In fact, did the Goodwood sprint in it this year, very unsuccessfully because it was wet and I was on cut slicks. But it's the new Radical Sr3 Sl, so it's a street legal one, about 300 horsepower standard. It is the quickest production car, officially, round the Top Gear test track and the Evo test track at Bedford. So, fantastic bit of kit, loads of downforce, really quite physical to drive, but brilliant fun, and British.